my bedroom that I share with my husband, with my mother and my husband by my side, and pass peacefully with some music that I like in the background. And I know that it's there when I need it.
Well, an emotional and heartbreaking video going viral, more than 4 million views. A woman suffering from terminal brain cancer making the decision to end her life on her own terms. 29-year-old Brittany Maynard had to move to Oregon to take advantage of that state's death with dignity law, which lets terminally ill patients receive medication and end their lives. So, what is the death with dignity law? Is it something that we could see here in Arizona? Joining us this morning is Jonathan Frutkin with the Frutkin Law Firm. Thanks for coming on with us this morning.
Morning, Rick.
What about this death with dignity law? How many states have this right now?
Well, there are 3 states that actually have the law: Washington, Oregon, and Vermont. 2 other states, Montana and New Mexico, judges there have basically put into place a similar sort of ruling that effectively gives those 2 states the law as well.
Is this on the radar at all here for Arizona that you know of?
You know, there was nothing introduced here in the legislature. It's something that's beginning to be discussed more and more. Massachusetts had something on their ballot in 2012, which lost narrowly. And people are talking about it, obviously, because of the video.
If a citizen of Arizona wants to take advantage of this law because of a terminal illness, they could go to one of these states and become a citizen?
Yeah, all the states require that you establish residency there. And so a lot like the woman whose video's gone viral, that means getting your driver's license, establishing residency. And so, you know, in a lot of cases, you're seeing some people move. Now, both Washington and Oregon have statistics, though. And in both those cases, we're talking about less than 200 people a year taking advantage of the law. So it's not like there's a massive influx of people into states with the law.
Are those the only 2 states that are keeping stats right now?
Those are the only 2 keeping stats. As far as I know, Vermont isn't. But some interesting things come out of that. For example, the age that we're talking about is pretty high. The average age is 70 years old. And also highly educated. The people who are taking advantage of the death with dignity law tend to be college educated and tend to also have health insurance, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? It's also interesting to note that this could be very controversial because it's against many people's religions, and, you know, into Catholicism, it's prohibited. So you don't suppose this would be taken up anytime soon in the legislature?
Well, I would imagine that Arizona will be like, with many of these types of social issues, will be kind of toward the end of the packet. But, of course, we have initiatives and ballot measures here, so you never know if that's the sort of thing that we'll see on the ballot in the upcoming years.
It's interesting also to note in the history of this that Jack Kevorkian, the doctor in Michigan, was really ostracized for leading a campaign with death with dignity.
He really was. And what's also interesting about it is in a lot of cases, obviously, doctors in more subtle ways are helping patients find comfort as they come to the end, whether that's in a state with this sort of law or not.
Yeah. Jonathan, thank you very much. Jonathan Frutkin, Frutkin Law Firm. Thanks for being with us.